untethered. Here, why don't you play with that? Okay. Reboot? All right. Third time? Yes? Whew. All right. Lots of things been going on for me in the last 24 hours. So I decided to interrupt myself and share a story of something that's happened to me in the last few hours that I've been dealing with in the background of all the conference stuff. So it goes a little bit like this, and I actually really wanted to move while I was telling this. But last night I got back to my room, late afternoon, was planning on stepping out to dinner, no big deal, and walked out of my hotel room and went and checked the handle. This is like something you do mindlessly. You're not even thinking about it, right? You're thinking about, do you have your room key? Do you have your cell phone with you? Whatever. And I try the handle, and I walk right back into the door. I'm in the room. That wasn't supposed to happen. Hotel doors normally lock automatically. I was confused. I wasn't expecting that. So I did it like 10 times in a row because I felt like, first I was just so completely confused that it happened and I didn't expect it to happen that I felt like I should try it again. And then I knew that if I didn't try it a couple of times, somebody would say to me, well, would you try that again? And so then I went back out and I made sure the handle was really closed because I thought for sure they would say to me, did you make sure the door latched? So I made sure the door latched, but it didn't matter. I could go in and out of the door countless times. At this point, I'm now late. I'm supposed to do something for the conference, and I'm calling Rochelle saying, I have a door problem. I can't explain it. I'll see you soon. And I call the front desk, and I'm trying to explain it to them, and they're like, right, okay, yeah, we'll send a guy right up. I'm like, okay, great, so I know what this is going to look like. They're going to think I'm crazy. So the guy comes up, 2 men show up, right? And I'm thinking, okay, how many guys does it take to open? All right, whatever, we won't go there. So they asked me to come and test it with them. So I go out in the hall, the 3 of us, it's now 3 people for 1 door. We go through, and they see me do it a couple of times in a row. They're like, yeah, they're standing there watching me. They're like, yep, no, she definitely is walking in and out of the door. I'm like, okay, so we've confirmed there's a problem here. Here's where it got really interesting. One of the maintenance guys, his name, by the way, is Tim, and he's really nice, and I'm getting to know him, says to me, he says this critical sentence. He says, oh, that happens sometimes. Yeah, really, that's what he said. That happens sometimes. That was all I needed. You want curious? I'm really curious. How often does that happen? How many rooms right now upstairs are unlocked and we don't know this? It's like your room. And you have like good hardware, so yay. You want an iPad. So like, wait a minute, like back up a minute. What do you mean this happens sometimes? And I said to him, do you happen to know what I do for a living? And he said, actually, I really don't, but you've got some speaker badge thing on. And I said, yeah. So we talked about it, and I said, so, like, what are the variables here? What's going on in the mechanism? What's going on in the mechanism to this door? What controls it? What programs it? What tells it, like, when it should be unlocked, or when it should be locked, or when it should listen to a new key, or like how's it work? And he said, yeah, it only happens like 1 out of 10,000 times. Honestly, it's been driving me nuts. I've had this problem for a while. I said, so what else do you know about it? Like, how often does it happen? And so we talked about it for a while. We kind of it's a pretty good working relationship at this point. Then he asked me, can you unlock the door in front of me? I want to watch. Maybe you do something differently, because he had reset it at this point, which still wasn't really making me feel all that good. He reset it. That's nice, but, I don't know what's going on with this lock, and I'm trying to sleep in this room. So we go through this test, and they watch me unlock the door and go through the door, and it broke again in front of them, but they couldn't quite figure out, like, what was going on. I am losing faith. I will spell that out clearly in case you missed that part. But I'm losing faith rapidly, right? So we go through it, and finally he locks the door, and I'm kind of scratch my head, and I go off to dinner, but I'm not, like, it's just not good enough, right? Because now you've introduced a problem. It's like data integrity. 1 bad record, and now I'm not trusting the whole thing, right? So testing is dead? I don't think so. I think we're a really long way from that. And even this maintenance guy has a sense of curiosity about it. He wants to figure it out. And now he thinks he's got somebody who's also interested. Instead of like just yelling at him or telling him switch rooms, I want to solve the problem. I want to figure this out. I'm really curious. So anyways, I get through the night, whatever, big bolt in the door. Okay, I'll deal with that. Although actually I have to admit, when I got back to my room last night, don't I sound like me? I'm always over-caffeinated. I'm always filled with stories. So I get back into my door last night, and I'm in my room, and I'm thinking, bloody, I'm on the wrong side of the door to test this now. I'm not in the right state. And I don't really know who I want to call to say, will you come see if you can just glide in my door? Because that doesn't sound right. So I just put the big bolt on and I got through the night. Well, I got up this morning super early, dying to go find my little shot of espresso, hoping not really to see anybody, because I'm at one with coffee in the morning and we shouldn't be talking before I've had my coffee. I'm trying to slide in and out of the door without being noticed, and my door unlocks again. And I'm doing the same thing, in and out, in and out. I'm like, now I'm really frustrated. I'm curious, but I'm also really frustrated. You see where we're going. This is just getting worse. Now I have no faith whatsoever. But I had a great debate. Do I think somebody's going to get up and try my door handle at 6 a.m. or get coffee? Coffee always rules, right? So I go and I get my coffee and I stop back at the desk and I said, my room's unlocked right now. And then I realized my hair is sticking up. I haven't had... She actually asked me, she said, do you have an ID on you? I said, I do. So I pulled out my ID and I realized now I seem like a crazy woman, right? Like, yeah, sure, your room's unlocked. So I go through, I explain the whole thing, and I'm trying to explain it. How? Factually, objectively, in the order in which things happened, with information. I'm trying to give her valid points. I know who Tim is, your maintenance guy, and Patrick. So I know these people, and I have witnesses. Okay, so I'm not just a crazy lady. So I tell her, I said, I know they know how to reset the lock, but that might not be good enough because I've already seen it break after they did their, come on, y'all know the word, workaround. So I want more than that. I want this thing really fixed. So I'm going to be off busy all day. I've got this like crazy, hectic conference schedule thing going on. Please, can you bring in a locksmith and get this fixed for real? And when I come back, I also actually really want my room changed, but I want to know that the lock gets fixed. So I run back over to the front desk on break. By the way, I'm staying at the Adventure Tower. Yes, it's the right name. And I go back to the front desk, and they've kind of forgotten about this. You know, they haven't really addressed the problem. So now I advocate for having my room switched out, because this is not acceptable. All right? Workaround is one thing. This isn't funny anymore. I have gear. I'm a woman. I don't really want to be in this unlocked room, and I'm done. So I had to advocate clearly and concisely for my problem in order to get it resolved. And then I also told them that you really need to fix the problem. So I go back upstairs, and there's two guys in the hall looking at a door. They're not really doing a lot, but they're looking at the door. It's not Tim. It's not Patrick. So now I know two more maintenance guys. Good times. And so they say to me, we don't see a problem with the door. And I said, well, I do. And I've been able to replicate the problem before. And I could try to demonstrate it for you again now, but I'm actually at this point going to switch rooms, but I want you to switch this lock out because it's not working. So I go through, I explain the whole thing to them. But what am I really dealing with here? Right? I mean, it's a cute story. So we all have homework tonight. Anyone who's staying at the hotel, play with your lock and do not walk out the door and assume it's been locked because you're making assumptions. That's never a good thing, right? So you should test it, even though it's hardware and you're a software tester, because there's a hardware-software combination going on in there, and you should think about this. But in addition to this, think about the things that I had to deal with. I have to deal with a flurry of emotions, which Jonathan talked about today, which most people don't talk about emotions in testing. I went from kind of annoyed to frustrated to really agitated to, I've got a lot of emotions going on. What else? I had to deal with the unexpected. Who's looking for this at 6 a.m.? I'm not looking for this. And I had to deal with advocating for myself in a way that I didn't expect to. And I got a little jostled in all this. And frankly, at 2:20, I was basically running down a hallway with a bellman, lugging all my stuff into another room because I was supposed to live video interviewing or something at 2:25. And Kim probably thought I was in another session, but I was actually really running up and down the hallway. It was really good times. Think about that. There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of unexpected, and you have to sort of think on your feet, and that's what software testers do all the time. There is no pre-written test case for this. Who the heck expected that to happen? Not me, right? But I dealt with it. And I'm actually kind of amused by it, and you know what I'm going to be doing with my door tonight, and I'll probably be trying other doors. But the one thing that I know after all of this is I know I can come back to a room like this filled with a community of software testers. And this is the weirdest segue ever, probably. But I also want to highlight another community to you, which is REST, which is the Workshop on Regulated Software Testing. We are a small community of people. And the SQE folks, thank you very much, been all really nice to us, offer us a room because they're trying to help us build a community in software testing, most especially for people in regulated software. Those are people who deal with the insurance industry, medical devices, gaming technology, all sorts of different technologies that not only do they have to test it, they have to then pass an audit. So they've got an extra plus. Am I out of time? Sorry. Am I doing bad? You'll yell at me. I'll go for it. And we're running the next REST this Friday. It's here. And so Griffin Jones is here, John McConda's here, I'm here, Scott Barber's here somewhere. We're people who run REST. And I just wanted to point out that actually there's a bigger community than that. There's other peer workshops too. You can go to LAWST, L-A-W-S-T, and find that there's another whole bunch of communities out there. There's test automation communities. There's peer workshops in multiple different countries. I know New Zealand, and I was at LUT, the London Workshop on Exploratory Software Testers. We're all around the world, and we are very united people, and our community is precious to us, and it's precious to me, and I wanted to share all of that with you. So thank you.